Every week, millions of people walk into grocery stores with the same goal: buy enough food to get through the week. But there's a problem. Many shoppers are spending money on products that don't provide much value. They buy convenience. They buy oversized packages. They pay extra for branding. And sometimes, they throw away perfectly usable food simply because they didn't plan their shopping carefully. Meanwhile, experienced shoppers often take a completely different approach. They look for foods that are affordable, versatile, easy to store, and useful in multiple meals. They don't necessarily buy the cheapest product on the shelf. Instead, they look for the best value. Because there's a big difference between spending less money and wasting less money. Today, I'm sharing 11 groceries that I quietly buy while many people waste money every week. These aren't expensive specialty foods. They're practical products that can help stretch your grocery budget, reduce waste, and make your pantry more useful. Some can replace more expensive convenience foods. Others can be used in multiple recipes. And a few can help you avoid those last-minute grocery trips where you end up spending far more than planned. But remember, the best grocery strategy is the one that fits your household. Don't buy something simply because it's cheap. If your family won't eat it, it's not a bargain. Always consider your normal eating habits, storage space, and how quickly you'll use the product. And when possible, compare the unit price instead of looking only at the sticker price. Because sometimes the biggest savings aren't found in the products with the lowest price. They're found in the products you can use in the most ways. Before we begin, subscribe to Prepper Pulse and turn on notifications. We upload new videos daily with practical grocery tips, food storage ideas, and preparedness strategies to help you stay informed and ready. Now let's count down 11 groceries I quietly buy while most people waste money every week. Starting with number 11. Number 11. Cabbage. Starting at number 11 is a grocery item that many people completely overlook. Cabbage. While shoppers often spend more money on pre-cut salads, packaged vegetable mixes, and ready-to-eat produce, cabbage can quietly deliver much more value for your money. One head can provide multiple meals. You can shred it for homemade coleslaw. Add it to stir-fries. Mix it into soups. Use it as a filling for wraps. Or simply cook it as a side dish. That's what makes cabbage such a smart budget grocery. You're not buying a product that has only one purpose. You're buying an ingredient that can work across many different meals. Another advantage is that whole cabbage generally keeps longer than many delicate leafy vegetables. That means you're less likely to open your refrigerator a few days later and discover that your expensive produce has already gone bad. This can make a major difference over the course of a month. Food waste is one of the biggest hidden expenses in grocery shopping. You may think you're saving money by buying fresh vegetables every week, but if you throw away a portion of them before you use them, you're not actually saving anything. Cabbage can help reduce that problem. You can buy one head and gradually use it throughout the week. And because it works in so many recipes, you don't have to eat the exact same dish every day. If you find cabbage at a good price, it can be one of those simple purchases that quietly stretches your grocery budget. The key is buying an amount your household can realistically consume. Don't buy 5 heads just because they're cheap. Buy what you'll actually use. Cabbage earns the number 11 spot because it's affordable, versatile, relatively long-lasting compared with many fresh vegetables, and can help replace more expensive packaged produce. And now that we've filled the missing number, we're moving on to number 10, where we'll look at another grocery that can help you save money while reducing food waste. Number 10. Frozen vegetables. At number 10 is something I quietly buy because it can save money in a way many shoppers overlook. Frozen vegetables. Fresh vegetables are great, but they're also one of the easiest grocery items to waste. You buy a large bag of fresh produce. You plan to cook it during the week. Then life gets busy. A few days pass. And suddenly, those vegetables are sitting in the back of the refrigerator looking completely different from the day you bought them. That's where frozen vegetables can be a smart alternative. They're already washed and prepared. They can be stored for much longer than most fresh produce. And you can use exactly the amount you need without worrying about the rest spoiling immediately. You can add them to soups, rice dishes, pasta, stir-fries, omelets, or simply serve them as a side dish. This versatility makes frozen vegetables especially useful for budget-conscious households. Instead of buying several different fresh vegetables every week and risking waste, you can keep a few frozen varieties available and use them whenever you need them. Another advantage is convenience. There's no need to spend time washing, peeling, or chopping certain frozen vegetables. You can take out what you need and return the rest to the freezer. That means less food waste and less preparation time. However, frozen vegetables aren't always cheaper than fresh ones. That's why it's important to compare the price per serving or per unit. Sometimes a sale can make frozen vegetables an excellent value. Other times, seasonal fresh produce may be the better choice. The key is flexibility. Buy what works best for your household. Frozen vegetables earn the number 10 spot because they can reduce waste, provide convenience, and help you keep nutritious ingredients available without constantly worrying about spoilage. And the next grocery is something that can replace expensive snack foods while giving you much more control over what you're eating. Number 9. Popcorn kernels. At number 9 is one of my favorite budget-friendly grocery staples. Popcorn kernels. Now, I'm not talking about the expensive microwave popcorn packages that come with individual bags and added flavorings. I'm talking about plain popcorn kernels. A single bag can provide a surprisingly large number of servings. And that's where the savings can really add up. Instead of buying individually packaged snacks every week, you can make popcorn at home whenever you want it. You can prepare it on the stovetop or with a suitable popcorn maker. Then you can control exactly what goes into it. A little salt, a small amount of butter, or whatever seasonings your family enjoys. You can also experiment with different flavors without paying premium prices for pre-seasoned products. Popcorn kernels are also easy to store. Keep them in a cool, dry location in an appropriate airtight container to help maintain quality. And because you prepare only what you need, there's less risk of opening a large snack package and forgetting about it. For families with children, homemade popcorn can also be a much more affordable alternative to constantly buying packaged snacks. Of course, portion sizes and preparation methods matter. Adding large amounts of butter, sugar, or other toppings can quickly change the nutritional profile and cost. The point is to start with an inexpensive base and customize it yourself. Popcorn kernels earn the number 9 spot because they're affordable, versatile, easy to store, and can turn into a satisfying snack at a fraction of the cost of many individually packaged alternatives. And the next grocery is something that can quietly save you money by helping you avoid one of the most expensive habits in the grocery store. Number 8. Plain Greek yogurt. At number 8 is a grocery item that can replace several more expensive products in your refrigerator. Plain Greek yogurt. The key word here is plain. Flavored yogurt can be convenient, but you're often paying extra for added sugar, flavoring, and individual packaging. A large container of plain Greek yogurt can give you much more flexibility. You can add fresh fruit, dried fruit, a little honey, or your favorite nuts and seeds. You can turn it into a quick breakfast, a snack, or even a simple dessert. But the real money-saving advantage is that plain Greek yogurt can also be used in savory recipes. You can use it as a base for dips, mix it into sauces, use it as a topping, or substitute it for certain higher-cost ingredients in some recipes. That versatility means one container can serve multiple purposes. Instead of buying separate products for breakfast, snacks, and sauces, you can use the same basic ingredient in different ways. Of course, the best option depends on your household's preferences. If nobody likes plain yogurt, buying a large container isn't saving money. It's just creating more food waste. That's why it's worth experimenting with small quantities first. Once you know your family enjoys it, buying larger containers may provide better value than individual servings. Always check the unit price. Sometimes the larger package isn't actually the best deal, especially when smaller packages are on sale. Plain Greek yogurt earns the number 8 spot because it's versatile, filling, and can replace several more expensive convenience products when used creatively. And the next grocery is something that can help you build complete meals without buying expensive pre-made sauces and mixes. Number 7. Tomato paste. At number 7 is a tiny grocery item that can make a huge difference in how far your other ingredients go. Tomato paste. It comes in a small can or tube, but a little bit can add a tremendous amount of flavor to a meal. That's what makes it such a valuable budget grocery. You can use tomato paste to build pasta sauces, add depth to soups, improve stews, create homemade pizza sauce, or add richness to rice and vegetable dishes. Instead of buying a different sauce for every recipe, you can use a small amount of tomato paste as a starting point and customize it yourself. That can save money while also giving you more control over the ingredients. Tomato paste is especially useful because it can help turn inexpensive ingredients into something that tastes much more substantial. A basic combination of vegetables, grains, or beans can become a completely different meal with the right seasonings and a little tomato paste. If you buy tomato paste in a can, you may not always need the entire container for one recipe. That's where careful storage becomes important. Transfer leftovers to an appropriate airtight container and follow safe food storage practices. You can also choose tomato paste in tubes if you prefer a package that allows you to use small amounts over time, although the unit price may be higher. Compare the options. The cheapest package isn't always the most economical if you end up throwing half of it away. Tomato paste earns the number 7 spot because it's inexpensive, versatile, and can help you create flavorful meals from simple, affordable ingredients. And the next grocery is something that can save you money every morning while giving you a much more flexible breakfast. Number 6. Old-fashioned oats. We're now at number 6. And this is one grocery item that can quietly save money across an entire week. Old-fashioned oats. They're inexpensive, easy to store, and surprisingly versatile. Of course, you can make a basic bowl of oatmeal. But that's only the beginning. You can add oats to smoothies. Use them in homemade granola. Mix them into muffins. Make overnight oats. Or combine them with other ingredients to create simple snacks. This flexibility is important when you're trying to spend less on groceries. Instead of buying expensive breakfast products every week, you can use one affordable ingredient as the foundation for several different meals. Oats can also be customized based on what's already in your pantry. Add fruit when you have it. Use nuts, cinnamon, or a small amount of honey. You don't need to buy expensive flavored packets to enjoy a variety of breakfasts. Another advantage is storage. When kept in a cool, dry location and protected from moisture and pantry pests, oats can remain a useful pantry staple for a considerable period. That means you can take advantage of sales without needing to consume them immediately. Of course, always check the manufacturer's storage recommendations and rotate your supply. Old-fashioned oats earn the number 6 spot because they're affordable, versatile, filling, and can replace many more expensive packaged breakfast options. And now we're entering the top 5. The next grocery is something that can help you avoid spending extra money on individually packaged snacks. Number 5. Whole wheat tortillas. We're now in the top 5. At number 5 is a grocery item that can turn a few inexpensive ingredients into an easy meal. Whole wheat tortillas. They're incredibly versatile. You can use them for wraps, breakfast burritos, quesadillas, simple pizzas, or even quick snack rolls. That's why I like keeping them available. Instead of buying expensive ready-made sandwiches or restaurant meals, you can combine whatever ingredients you already have at home and create something quickly. Leftover chicken, beans, cheese, vegetables, eggs, or even simple spreads can become a completely different meal when wrapped in a tortilla. This is where the savings can add up. You're not buying a separate product for every meal. You're using one basic ingredient as a flexible foundation. Tortillas can also help reduce food waste. Instead of throwing away small amounts of leftover ingredients, you can combine them into a wrap. That leftover roasted chicken from yesterday? Use it in a tortilla. A small amount of vegetables? Add them. A little cheese? Turn it into a quesadilla. It's a simple way to make leftovers feel like a new meal. If you buy tortillas in larger packages, check the storage instructions. Depending on the product and how quickly you use them, refrigeration or freezing may help maintain quality. Always follow the manufacturer's recommendations. Whole wheat tortillas earn the number 5 spot because they're versatile, convenient, and can help turn inexpensive leftovers and pantry ingredients into quick meals. And now we're down to the final 4. The next grocery is something that can help you add flavor to almost anything without buying a different sauce for every meal. Number 4. Dried herbs and spices. We're down to the final 4. At number 4 is something that can completely change your meals without requiring you to spend much money. Dried herbs and spices. Think about it. You can have the same basic ingredients sitting in your pantry, but change the seasonings. And suddenly, you have a completely different meal. A simple bowl of rice can become a Mexican-inspired dish with the right combination of spices. Vegetables can taste completely different with herbs and garlic. Beans can be transformed with chili, cumin, or paprika. And homemade soups can become much more flavorful with a few basic seasonings. That's why spices can be such a smart grocery purchase. Instead of buying multiple expensive sauces and ready-made seasoning packets, you can build your own flavor combinations. And you don't need dozens of different bottles. Start with the spices you actually use. Garlic powder, onion powder, paprika, black pepper, cinnamon, oregano, or whatever fits your household's cooking style. Buy small quantities if you rarely use a particular spice. There's no savings in purchasing a giant container that sits in your cabinet for years and eventually loses its flavor. Pay attention to unit prices as well. Sometimes store brands provide excellent value compared with premium brands. You can also compare larger and smaller containers based on how quickly you use them. Dried herbs and spices earn the number 4 spot because they're relatively inexpensive, take up little space, and can help you create variety without constantly buying new sauces and prepared foods. And now we're down to the final 3. The next grocery is something that can help you turn leftovers and inexpensive ingredients into complete meals. Number 3. Eggs. We're down to the final 3. At number 3 is one of the most versatile groceries you can buy. Eggs. They're useful for breakfast, lunch, dinner, baking, and everything in between. That's what makes them such a valuable grocery purchase. One carton can become scrambled eggs in the morning, an omelette for lunch, a frittata for dinner, or an ingredient in homemade baking. This versatility means you're getting more potential meals from one basic grocery item. Eggs can also help you make leftovers more useful. Have some vegetables sitting in the refrigerator? Turn them into an omelette. Have leftover rice? Add an egg and create a quick meal. Have a small amount of cheese? Combine it with eggs and other ingredients. This can help reduce food waste while saving money. Of course, egg prices can vary significantly depending on location, brand, and market conditions. That's why it's worth comparing different options when shopping. You may find that store-brand eggs provide excellent value. Or you may discover that buying a larger carton makes sense for your household. But only buy what you can use before the eggs spoil. The cheapest price isn't a bargain if half the carton ends up in the trash. Proper storage is also important. Keep eggs refrigerated according to local food safety guidance and follow the instructions on the package. Eggs earn the number 3 spot because they're incredibly versatile and can become part of countless meals. And now we're down to the final 2. The next grocery is something I buy because it can help replace expensive convenience foods while making everyday meals much easier. Number 2. Canned beans. We're down to the final 2. At number 2 is one of the groceries I quietly keep available because it can stretch a meal without stretching the budget. Canned beans, black beans, kidney beans, pinto beans, chickpeas, and other varieties can all become incredibly useful when you're trying to make your grocery money go further. The biggest advantage is convenience. Unlike dried beans, canned beans are already cooked. You can open the can, drain and rinse them if desired, and add them directly to your meal. That makes them perfect for busy days when you don't have time to cook everything from scratch. You can add them to rice, mix them into soups, use them in salads, make tacos, create simple bean bowls, or combine them with vegetables and spices for a filling meal. This versatility means one inexpensive grocery item can replace several more expensive meal options. Canned beans can also help stretch more expensive ingredients. If you have a small amount of meat left over, adding beans can turn it into a larger meal. A little chicken can become a full pot of soup. A small amount of ground meat can become a bigger batch of chili. And leftover vegetables can become part of a satisfying bean bowl. That's how you save money without feeling like you're eating less. You're simply making your ingredients work harder. When buying canned beans, compare the price per ounce between different brands and package sizes. Store brands are often worth considering. And if you find a good sale on varieties your family already eats, buying a reasonable backup supply can make sense. Just remember to rotate your pantry. Use older cans first and replace them as needed. Canned beans earn the number 2 spot because they're convenient, affordable, versatile, and capable of stretching many different meals. And now we've reached number 1. The grocery I quietly buy because it can save money across breakfast, lunch, dinner, and even snacks. Number 1. Potatoes. We've reached number 1. And the grocery I quietly buy because it can save money across countless meals is something incredibly simple. Potatoes. They're one of those foods that most people don't think much about. But when you look at how many ways you can use them, their value becomes obvious. You can bake them, boil them, mash them, roast them, turn them into breakfast hash, add them to soups, use them in stews, or combine them with leftovers to create an entirely new meal. That's what makes potatoes such a powerful budget grocery. You don't need to buy a different expensive side dish for every meal. One bag of potatoes can become the foundation for multiple recipes. And they can also help stretch other ingredients. Have a small amount of leftover meat? Add potatoes and vegetables to make a hearty stew. Have a few eggs? Make a simple potato breakfast. Have some cheese? Turn potatoes into a satisfying baked or roasted dish. This is how you make your grocery budget work harder. You're not necessarily buying less food. You're buying ingredients that can be used in more ways. Potatoes can also help reduce the temptation to order takeout when you don't know what to cook. If you have a few basic ingredients at home, potatoes can often help turn them into a complete meal. That's a major advantage for anyone trying to save money. Of course, proper storage matters. Keep potatoes in a cool, dark, dry, well-ventilated location and avoid storing them in conditions that encourage sprouting or spoilage. Check them regularly and use older potatoes first. Don't buy more than you can realistically use. The goal isn't to fill your pantry with food that eventually gets thrown away. The goal is to buy smart. Potatoes earn the number 1 spot because they're affordable, versatile, filling, and useful in an enormous number of meals. And that's exactly what I look for when I shop. Not the fanciest product. Not the most heavily advertised brand. And not necessarily the cheapest item on the shelf. I look for groceries that give me the most flexibility for my money. So there you have it. 11 groceries I quietly buy while many people waste money every week. Cabbage. Frozen vegetables. Popcorn kernels. Plain Greek yogurt. Tomato paste. Old-fashioned oats. Whole wheat tortillas. Dried herbs and spices. Eggs. Canned beans. And potatoes. The common theme isn't that these foods are magically cheap. It's that they're versatile. They can be used in multiple meals. They can help reduce food waste. And they can replace some of the more expensive convenience products people often buy without thinking. The next time you go grocery shopping, don't just ask yourself, what's the cheapest thing I can buy? Ask yourself, how many different ways can I use this? How long will it last? Will my family actually eat it? And can it help me avoid buying something more expensive later? Those questions can completely change the way you shop. Because saving money at the grocery store isn't always about buying less. Sometimes it's about buying smarter. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to Prepper Pulse and turn on notifications. We upload new videos daily with practical grocery tips, food storage ideas, and preparedness strategies to help you stay informed and ready. Stay prepared. Stay informed. And we'll see you in the next video.